Now, so let's work with the timing function. Now, let's see how we work with timing functions in Microsoft Excel. So, one thing we should note is that each day, each 1, 2, 3 we have in Excel represents a day. So when you have a decimal point, it represents time. Decimal in Excel represents time. If you look at this date here, we have 45,658.375. It means that this one is a date, and this part is what is a time. We have the date part and we have the time part of. So anything after the decimal is what is representing time. That is how Excel represents it. So it means a portion of a day, time is a portion of a day, not a complete day, but a portion of a day. That is timing. That is time in Microsoft Excel. Now, let's quickly see how we can do that. We can use timing to calculate the number of hours, how to calculate the overnight shift. When you work overnight, how do we use Excel to calculate that for us? How to use time function, hour, minute, second function, calculate difference between minutes and the project durations that have to do with time, break time, overtime, and payment delay options. So let's quickly see that in Microsoft Excel. Now, so we said earlier that time is represented by what? By decimal. Let's quickly look at what are we now? When are we? This is currently we are on 319. Let me press Control Shift semicolon. This is 319 now. So if I press Control 1 and I think this to general, let's see what we have. It means you already have 0.6% of the day, 0.63% of the day, or 0.3638 of today. It means you're already more than half of today. So out of if assuming we are 12 noon, that will be 0.5 of that day. 0.5. Half a day is 0.5. So 9 hours would be like 0.75, something like that. Oh, sorry. That's 6 hours would be like 6 hours would be like 0.35, 0.25, and how many hours again? That's 15 hours would be like 0. Just like that. So we have every hour that we have has its own decimal word. If I change this to what? Let me control it back to the number and we'll make this one, let's see, 16 now. 1600. Now, if we change this, that is 4. That is 4 p.m. and make it Control Shift 0.67. That is exactly what time stands for in Excel. Now, how do we work with time? Before we move to calculation, okay, before we go to formula, let's see how time works. How can we do calculation with timing? By adding and subtracting time. We have 2 employees. These are clock in time. These are clock out time. This is the number of hours work. How do we get the number of hours they work? Type, let's see, mathematics equals to this minus this. So we have 9 a.m. 9 a.m. But let's see, let's multiply this by 24. Because what we need is number of hours, not a.m. So we have 12. Here. Okay. So when you format it as a number of, when you format it as a general, it gives you the number of what? Of hours that you have between them. So Again, let me do what again? Equals to this clock out minus clock in. Enter. So it's 9 hours. 9 is 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. 9 hours. It's 8:45 a.m. Consider what we want to calculate is actually we want to calculate what? Number of hour work, not time. We don't need time. We already have the time. We already have it. So what we have is what? Is hour. So in calculating hour, we multiply our result by what? By 24. You must multiply your result by what? By 30, by 24 hours. It means 24 hours make 1 day. So we have this. So you have this like this, but we still are not satisfied with what we have because it's giving us what? This function. So let's convert it to general format. Control Shift this. So we have 9 hours, and this one works for 8 hours and some minutes. 8 hours, 8.75. That is 8 hours and a few minutes. So if we change this to hours, so minutes rather, press Control 1 and time. Don't need this. I want to know the number of minutes. Let's see any option here. Hours and minutes. It's okay. I see that it's given us 18 hours. Oh, it's wrong. So let's say by the number that we need here. So we don't change back to timing again. We don't change back to time again. So we don't need time. What we need is what? Is the number of period they use. So multiply by the rate, you have the amount paid. It means that once you get this, just multiply by the amount you pay per hour, and you multiply, you get how much they are supposed to get for that day. That is how we calculate the difference between what? Between two times. Now, let's now see the same thing. Okay, I should repeat the day. Okay, no problem. Okay, I think I've done that already. Mr. Charles, is it clear now? Okay, great. Now, what about when you work overnight? Look at this. Let's look at this example here. Let's look at this instead. Let's look at this. We have somebody started work 11 p.m. and they clock out 7 a.m. We all know that this 7 a.m. is the next day. Is the next day, not the same day again. Now, let's try to use the formula we used earlier here. This minus the 1024. See what we have. Going to give us a negative answer, which is not possible in Excel. This hash will follow will just be as long as possible. So when you have timing across the other day, how do we solve that? Because 1 minus 7 minus 11 is not possible. How do we solve that? So we use the function here equals to what? Equals to 1. This is how it works. Plus this. This plus this. It means that we are telling Excel that there is even though this is looking like 7, there is 1 day plus this minus this. So you had what? 1 to this to get this result. then you can now go ahead and multiply by 24. Now control shift, okay, format as a number. Now the guy has worked for what? 8 hours between the 11 p.m. and the 7 a.m. the following day. Let me do this once again. Equals to 1 plus this. That's the first thing you do. You add 1 to this, close the bracket, open the bracket and close the bracket. Now you can now minus the previous day from it. If it is 2 days after, it's going to be 2 plus. If it is 2 days after, it's going to be 2 plus this. But in most cases, shift might not be up to 2 days, right? So this. Now you have 8 a.m. But since we don't want this, you multiply your result by what? By 24. Enter. Now you have it like this. You cannot change it to general format. What am I using to format it to general? This is what I use to format. Control Shift and this poly sign here. When you press Control Shift and this, it gives you a general format. Control Shift 1 give you a number format. Control Shift 2 give you a time. Control Shift 3 will give you a date. Control Shift 4 give you a currency. Control Shift 5 give you percentage. That is those are shortcuts that you can also use in Excel. So instead of using keyboard every time, just use your what? Instead of using your mouse, just use your control touch. Now, how do we build appointment time? Let's go back to timing function now. Remember in day, when we're talking about day, we have what is called date function. Which is date function use what? It uses the year. We use year, month, and day to build a date. The same thing when you are working with time. When you are working with time, we use what? We use hour, we use minutes, and we use what? Seconds. The three of them are also all of them are functions like this. Hour, minutes, and seconds. Somebody said you have the hour, you're going to start as also hour and also minute. So you can quickly use that to check to get the time. How do you do that? Equals to time. Put a bracket. Hour. What hour? 4 hours. How many minutes? 0 minutes. And no seconds. Enter. So, orange is 0. So you can see that this is the appointment time. So use create time. Same way we can create time, we can also extract from them too. We can extract day, time, hour, minute from the time. So use the time, want to know how many hours, what is this hour? What hour is this? What do we do? Equals to hour function. Open the bracket, put the date and close the bracket. That's 14 hours, which is 12 noon plus 2 hours. So we're already in PM. Do the same thing for here. We extract what? We extract AM. So we can do the same thing for hour, minute, and second. But for AM and PM, we have to use the formula to extract that. So I will not want to go deep into that formula now. But for those who understand how it works, that is good. But if you don't know how it works, I will not go deep into that. If the hour is less than 12, then it's AM. otherwise PM. That's how if function works. For those of us who understand if function, if hour, whatever you get here, if it is less than 12, you want to return AM. If it is greater than 12, you want PM. Now we have 14 here, same here. If it is days, we have AM. That is how we check that. So we have the minutes, the duration of minutes of meeting. You have the start time and the end time. How many minutes do we have between them? How many hours, how many minutes do we have between them? I just use format, general format to change it back. So instead of when working with hours there, we have multiplied with 12. So now I want to work with minutes. What do? We multiply the result by what? The difference by 1,440. This is start time, 9, is stop 10:30. So this minus this multiply by what? 1,440. That is how exactly you get your duration for a period. Then next to that is the project time calculator. Now remember when we are working with days, we see the next is going to finish in 50 days. What you're doing is also days. But now I want to calculate how many hours has this spent or is going to spend. When we have the start hour and it's a non-stop job, so to start phase 1 on the 9 a.m. of January 1, and it's going to end 5 p.m. on January on the 1st of May. That's how many days? That is like 5 months. That's 5 months. February, March, April, May, 4 months. That is 4 months between these days and these days. We want to know how many hours do they work. How do we calculate the hours in this case? How do we calculate the hours in this case? So we have the formula called, you add the date and time together. The end date and time, which is the date and time. Then create date and time also. And this date and time minus date and time. You know, before we are using date minus date. We have used time minus time. But since we are reporting in what? In hour, in number of hours worked. We multiply by what? By 20. By 24. Because we are reporting in number of hours. Multiply by what? By 24. That will give you the number of hours worked. So we have net work hours. How many hours do they work? This guy has a break of 1 hour. So here we have what? Sorry, this is 45. This is 45. This is 45. So this is exactly what we have here. We have this end time minus early time, right? By 24. We multiply this different by 24. Then you now minus the 1 hour break. We have done this already. This minus this by 24. Then you minus 24. Then you format as a number, general number. 8.9 hours. It means that you really work for 8.9 hours. If you change it to this, you can make it for 9 hours. We want to show you that the decimal 8.96 hours. That is the actual time that the guy actually worked. Any question on time function? So we move on. Then we are going to finish before the time. So let's move quickly to text function. We've dealt with text function already while working with date. So I'm not going to waste any time here again. When we talk about timing. Okay, so we've talked about how to extract day name. When we talk about equals to text, remember, open the bracket, put your value date, then you format. Why? But text function can also do more than, can still do more than that. Text function can, you can do as much as possible. You can use it to format your date. Remember, you have a date like this, and you want to show it in another format. So to do that, you simply go to Control 1 and you select any date of your choice. You can change it and use any date of your choice. I see. You can use any date of your choice and you select any type of date that you want. So you can do that. Also, when you are working within the Excel and then it's for you to generate formula, you can also use text function. So how does text function work? Equals to text, open the bracket, then select the number, comma. Now, format now is now left for you. How you want your date to show. In this case, we have MMMMDY. This full name, date. Because okay, I want MMMM, comma. Then I want DD, comma, MM, comma, Y. And you close the double quote and close the bracket. I think you understand this. This one means a full month. Or you can make it a full day. Let's make it a full day. Let's make it DDDG. It means day, Monday, 24th of March, 2020 something. So that is exactly what we have done. If you click enter, that is what exactly what Excel will return for you. So it means that we use text function to create format. You can also use the same thing. You can also use text function also to generate just the name. You can use month and year alone for analysis. You can use YY. So any format of your choice. You can use text function to generate any functions, any type of, for any function type of your choice. That is how text functions work. Also, we can also use concatenate functions. Imagine you are doing a report, but you don't want to be typing the report every time. You want Excel to be giving you, if it is quarter 1, or quarter 2, or quarter 3, or quarter 4. And you want Excel to be doing that for you. Are you getting me? You want Excel to be doing that for you every time. So you can use what? Text function to give you January 2025, or you can use this one to tell you Excel text function again can give you this. And for to generate this is just like a simple way to coin. You have to coin some things together. That is the concatenate function. But there are two things here. This is number 1. Let me close the whole formula. Delete. And this is what we have here. Just Q. Control Z. And I want to bring the formula down so that you can understand it. We are adding Q, which is quarter. Q stands for quarter, adding it to what? To this formula. To round up month what? Month in this case divided by 3 to give you a quarter. Month divided by 3 and dash year A13, year that we have in this case. So we now have Q1. This one is what? Stand for the month divided by 3. So that means Q1. If it is 0.3, because we have round up, going to use what? 1. If it is 5 divided by 3, go to 1 point something, go to round up 2, that is Q2. If it is 7 divided by 3, go to give you 2 point something, that is Q3. 11 divided by 3, that is 3 point something, and go to be 4. That is what the market is, just the simple logic of using round up in this case. Now, every time you change your day, it will give you the exact quarter you belong to. I see. The report is Q3 report 2025. If you change the date 26, Q3 2026. So automatically your report will go and look at the date and generate the report headings. That is how to use report, how to create report headings while working in Microsoft Excel. So same thing with this. Here we have a mixture of what? Logical functions. If this is we have a due date. If it is due date is other than this, generate overdue and this. Then you format your date. If it is not, you just extract what? Due. So this is these are two functions. Due and this and text functions. Overdue and text functions. And those are simple way by which you can be working with ourselves without wasting any time. We have 21, 24, and the due date is what? Is the due date is this invoice date, and the due date is okay. Let me use today's date. Let's say 11. So it means, sorry, since the date is not due yet, we're going to use like first of this, first to just use date is formula. So the date is not due yet. So if you copy this formula down here, so this on the 4, 5. So you can see that it has changed to what? Due date, January 2. So that's how you can format some things and create a fantastic report for yourself. You don't have to do it every time, every now and then. Just create the formula and Excel will be doing the remaining magic for you. Are we good? So you can move to the next slide. Any question on text functions now? Any question on text functions?